Hello, hello everybody. How are you? How are you doing? How are you? How are you doing today? How was your day? Hi, Melissa Louise, welcome. I didn't put up the flyer during this during these last days. I was so busy, so I didn't put up the flyer, but I know that there will be those who are, you know, as usual, who will come around, who will come and support us. So I'm okay with that. Let me just fix my collar. Yeah, girl. How are you, Melissa? Yeah, Melissa. How are you doing? So tonight, for those of you who will be coming around for the first time, this is a program built especially for women who are going through tough times, who have been going through traumas, you know. So these are just some words of encouragement for us who has been there and who are still continuing to strive. Okay, so tonight I'm going to speak about we are going to speak about relationship tonight. Oh, relationships. So invite a friend to come along, because it is one of the most difficult things that we have to deal with is a relationship, especially intimate relationships. So invite a friend to come along to share with us. Okay, so this program is made possible by the One Accord movement, and Jacqueline Poleon, your therapist, your servant, author, and many more other titles in there. So, okay, but we all are going through the same things, and we all need encouragement. And while some of us has been there and has gone to another level, some of us are still struggling to move on, to carry on, to be who we were meant to be. Okay, so thank you for coming around. And tonight we are going to speak about relationship. Yes. Thank you. Yes, so relationship tonight, and what it is when two people meet with each other. That is something. So Brother Silburn, welcome, Brother Silburn. Thank you for making this possible, and thank God for making this possible. Coucou, je te vois. Bienvenue. Jean-Marc, je crois que je t'ai vu. Je crois que c'est bien ça. D'accord. So, relationships, how difficult it can be, how complex. It is a complex thing. It is something really complex to get into relationships. No matter what relationship you are in, at a moment, it can become really something which is really complex. You understand? We say complicated, isn't it? So when two people meet with each other, I got a text from Osho, and it really related. I could have really related to that text, because it is exactly what we're going through. And if we can understand it, once we can get hold of it, of the understanding of it, then we will know how to deal with people in our lives. Okay? And yesterday somebody was saying, no, it was this morning. This morning, Carol, I think I see you. Welcome. So this morning somebody was saying to me, well, yes, welcome, Carol. she said to me, and that's something I went through, and maybe I should rather speak about myself. You know, there was a guy I got friendly to, and when I got friendly to the guy, you know, I said, well, oh, that's strange. The fella he's not telling me I'm nice. Yes, thank you. So I was saying to myself, but why is this man? He's not, you know, he don't make compliments. You know, he don't make compliments. He don't tell me if the clothes I am wearing is beautiful. Yes, welcome. He don't tell me, it's okay, darling. Why is this guy, he's not telling me if I'm beautiful. He's not saying if the clothes I'm wearing is pleasing him. You know, he's not saying the nice things that we love to hear. And I was asking myself, but maybe I was saying to myself, I was thinking to myself, well, maybe the fella don't like the clothes I'm wearing. Maybe the man don't like the clothes I'm wearing. Maybe he don't like the things I'm doing. Maybe that's why he's not saying this. Maybe that's why he's not complimenting. And it was a need that I had. I needed him to compliment, because everybody loves to hear there's a mosquito troubling me. These days mosquitoes are out. And everybody loves to hear nice things. Isn't that so? All of us like to hear somebody tells us something nice. Isn't this so? Don't you love it when your husband or your wife or your mate or your friend, it could be a friend, tell you, oh wow, I love what you're wearing. Oh, you know, oh, I like your ways. Don't you love it when somebody says something like that to you? Doesn't it feel good when somebody says something like that? When people are complimenting you, maybe on your dressing, maybe on no matter on what, but when somebody is saying something nice to you, isn't it pleasing unto you? Doesn't it feel good inside to hear beautiful things? Well, I don't know for you. For me, it feels good. So what I did, because this guy, David Joseph, welcome. So what I did is basically that I went and I changed all my dressing. I changed all the way I was dressing, you know. Oh yes, Carol. Carol answered me. Thank you, Carol, for answering. I was wondering if you were hearing me. Thank you. Let me see the volume anyway. Yes, okay. It's good, to the top. Okay. So yes, so I, feeling bad about it, what I went and I did, I changed all my clothing, all my dressing and stuff, and still the guy wasn't complimenting. And we really got into trouble for that, because he wasn't complimenting and I wanted him to compliment me. But anyways, these are one of the places where we get into trouble in our relationships, and you will understand why very quickly. So when two people meet each other, it's two worlds which comes together. Two different worlds come together, because each person is like a whole universe, you understand? Each person, and that's what I didn't know. Each of us is like a universe. Each of us is like a whole different world from the other. And I didn't know that at that time, but today I understand it, that each of us, we are like a whole different world, and each of us are coming from a whole different place. And we enter a relationship just like that, like this different, in this world that we are, we enter the relationship like that. So we come together like that. And I mean, it is, and you know it, that it is not simple. A relationship is really not something simple. In fact, it is one of the most complex things that we have to face. We have to face in our lives, is being in a relationship. You understand? Especially when it comes to being into an intimate relationship. Anyways, if you're hearing the crickets behind me, you know I'm living in the countryside, so maybe that's why in all my videos, especially when I do them at night, you're hearing the crickets crick, crick, crick. But don't let that disturb you, okay? So it is not simple, it is very complex. Hello, Helena Louise, welcome. Okay? And each person is a world in itself. And that is the first point. This is the first point that I want to make tonight, is that each person is a whole universe in itself. You understand? It is not, and that universe, it is not like the other person's universe. Is that Leonita? Welcome, Leonita. Welcome, my sister. Oh. Thank you for joining us. Okay? So not only is it a complex, it is a mystery. Why is it a mystery? It is complicated, first of all, and it is a mystery because you don't know. It's okay, love. You don't know the other person's world. What does it look like? You know, you get friendly to that person. Yes, you get friendly to somebody, but you don't know that person yet. I mean, you get Franck Antoinette. I hope you will understand. Coucou, bienvenue Franck. J'espère que tu pourras suivre avec nous parce que c'est en anglais. D'accord? So, each person is a world, and this world is complex. And not only is it complex, but it's like a secret to the other person on the other side, because you don't know that person. Okay? You don't know that person because that person has a past. It's like a, hello, Leandro, welcome, and Zai, welcome. Okay? So, the mosquito, if you see me dancing a little, is the mosquitoes having fun with my legs. Okay. With my feet. Okay. Right. So, each person is a world, and it's a new world that you have to discover. Hello. It is a new world that you have to discover. Each of you have to discover each other. And when you meet each other, you don't know that person. So you're really taking a risk with your life, because you don't really know what this will turn into. Okay? So it's a mystery. And that mystery can be fun. That mystery can be fun. Now, at the beginning of the relationship, as I say, I usually say, we're like on this little cloud. You know, we're riding on the cloud, and there are butterflies in our heart, and little birds turning around our head, because, you know, we're saying we're in love, or we find love. So we'll see about that. You know, and you feel butterflies when the person speaks to you. Eh? It's a good feeling, isn't it? Okay, so when two people meet, many times we think that we have really met the person, but you haven't met the person. You're just at the border of the person's world. You know, it's like a circle, and you're not in the circle yet. Apple James, welcome. So you're not in the circle yet, huh? You're not in the circle. You're just at the border of the circle. You're just around that circle. Each of you is like at the borderline. It's like the end. You know, you're at the end. You're not yet in that circle. You're not yet in that person's life. Now, that's where we make the mistake. Because we think that when we meet the person, a few months pass, we know the person. Well, and later we find out that, no, I don't know you. What is coming out there? And so the person give you, you know, a new style. You say, oh my God, I didn't see that. I didn't see she was like that. I didn't see he was like that. Woo! You know? Yeah. You're starting to understand little things. But still, you are just at the border. You know, when I say talking border, I'm talking about you at the periphery of this person's life. You're not yet into this person's life. Okay? In the beginning, that's all it is. All we are getting to know in the beginning of a relationship is really getting to know each other. And we are still outside of that person's world. You're not yet in that person's world. Okay? You all met at the border of each other's world. but you are not yet in one another's heart. You are not yet in one another's soul. Okay? So, and when the relationship grows now into intimacy, when it grows, when it becomes deeper, when you start getting closer, then gradually the core will begin to meet. Okay? Gradually, this happens gradually. It's not over, it's not just, something that will happen just so. Gradually, you will meet each other in one another's world. But this is a very rare thing, you see, because I suspect that even if it happened to me, being with somebody, you can be with somebody for 12 years and the person still hasn't let you into their world, or you still haven't let that person into your world. You understand? Just because somebody have children with you, just because you have children with that person, just because you have I don't know, whatever y'all are doing together, you can have a business together, and you still haven't let that person into your heart. You still haven't let that person into the core of your soul. You understand? People live over 30 years of marriage, 40 years of marriage, and gradually, you know what? They become strangers. They become strangers. And I wonder if I should say they become or they remain. You see? They remain strangers because they never really let each other into the core of their heart. They never let each other into the world. Why is that? Very important. Because when the core comes together, when the two souls come together, that is where you talk about love. But outside of that, it is not yet love. It is just you two getting Romeo Poleon. Welcome, cuz. So it is just two persons at the edge of the world getting to know each other. It is not yet love. And sometimes we want to go fast and we think that it is love, but it is not yet love. Because in the long run, we realize that it wasn't what I thought it was. You see? Right. So it is just what you call getting to know each other. So when you make contact with each other, in fact, what you are doing, when you meet somebody, you're just making contact with that person on the outside. You're not yet inside. The person hasn't let you in. You're still on the outside because the mystery is still there. And some of us, we pass the rest of our lives trying to solve that unsolved mystery. We pass out the rest of our lives like, in that document thing they call unsolved mystery. It's like you get to be with that person, you marry that person, you had children with that person, over 20 years you all are together, and still the mystery remain unsolved. It means that person never really let you into the world. Okay? So frequently we start calling it love. But it is just an encounter. That's all it is. An encounter. And it's an error to think that it is love. Okay? Getting to know each other is not yet love. Not yet. Okay? Because love is a rare thing. To meet someone at the core is to... Hello. That talk just so... I didn't get I couldn't read it. Okay. So, love is a very rare thing. And to meet someone at the core is really to go through a revolution. And I like that word. A revolution yourself. You understand? To meet somebody in the soul, let somebody into your heart, it is really, it asks a lot of you. It asks a lot of change on your part. It asks you to do certain things, you understand? It to bring about certain Create space in your heart for this person, because many times we ask life for a partner, but then we are not ready to meet that partner. We are not ready to, not even to meet, because we meet the partner, but we are not ready to receive this partner into our lives, and we are not ready to give that partner our heart. You see, we yearn for a partner, and we say we would love to have this kind of person and that kind of person to feel maybe fulfill or whatever, you know, to live the rest of our lives with that person. But then, are we really ready to meet that person? Are we really ready to create space? Like I said in my book, are we ready to create space? Have we created space in our lives to let this person in the core of our lives, to let this person see our vulnerability? Because that's the word. We are scared of other people seeing our vulnerability, but still we want somebody in our lives. So because of fear, we don't really let that person into the core of our hearts. You understand? And because if you want to meet someone at the core, you will have to allow him or her to come to your heart. Allow that person to come into your heart. How many people today are married, have children, it's over 40, 20 years, 12 years they're married, and they don't know who the hell they're married to. They don't know who the hell is this woman or this man. Up to today. Because the core is closed. The heart is closed. Understand? Okay. Because it really asks you to be vulnerable, like I say, and absolutely vulnerable. Letting someone come to your heart is risky. Yes, it is a risk that you have to take. It is dangerous. It is dangerous because why? You don't know what that person will do to you when they get to know your secrets. That's where the problem is. You see, we have our secrets. We have our past lives. We have things that we rather nobody don't know. And when we let people into our lives, when we encounter people, when we encounter our partners, we don't really want them to know. We say that's for us to keep. And we don't really let them in because it's a risk. You don't know how that person will use your secret, may use your secret against you, may use your vulnerability against you. Take your vulnerability and use it to turn you into slavery. You understand? That's what we don't know. And that's where the risk lies. That's where the risk is, because you don't know that person don't know you now. You have to open your heart, and let that person see into you. Intimacy. See into me. You understand? Like Leandra loves to say. You got to open up and let this person look into the core of who you are. That's where the danger is. That's where the risk is, because you don't know what that person will do with this secret, with this information that they have about you. You don't know how they will interpret it. You don't know. So you keep your heart closed. That's what we do. We keep our hearts closed because we say, especially, when we've been through difficult relationships where people used us and refused us and misused us, we make how do you say that? We say, never again will I let people use me like that. Never again will I trust people like that. Never again will I let myself, will I give my heart again. You see, we say these kind of things. Terrence, welcome. We say these things, but we don't know that in the long run, it will really happen. We rally our hearts because we are sending a request into the universe that I want my heart closed. I don't want to get hurt again, so I will not allow anybody to enter there. I will stay on the surface, and if it work, it work. If it don't work, it don't work. I will try my best for it to work, but if it work, it work. If it don't work, it doesn't work, and I don't care. But we say we don't care, but we get hurt. We get hurt because we try so much to be something that we know we are not, you know. So this is the thing. We don't want to be vulnerable anymore. We don't want people to see our vulnerability. So we prefer to, you know, stay on the surface, stay at the border of the relationship, stay on the outside, you know, stay on the outside where people don't see, where the person with us don't see, so that maybe if the person know, the person will not use it against you. You understand? That is such a thing. That is such a thing. Okay, so once your intimacy is exposed, once you completely expose, what will that person do? You don't know. And that is the thing. You don't know. And there, hello Zita, welcome. And now, what happened? Fear. Fear has taken over so much that the years go by and the fear gets deeper and deeper, and the two of you, instead of getting closer, you get, you know, it's like how do you call that in English there? Okay, it's like something that keeps opening instead of getting closer and closer. You keep drawing further and further and further from each other, and you don't even realize that's what's happening. And then, as the children loves to say in French, ça ca vini si. You understand? The relationship gets, you know, là on mange si, hein? Il pas ni goût encore. That is why some people, they have children, they stay together over 40 years, and when the children grow and they leave the house, the two of them, yes, the two of them are there, and you know, it's like there is nothing more to say. There's nothing more to say. There's nothing more to do, because what really was keeping them together, what really was bonding them together at the edge of that relationship were just the children, you know. And many people stay with each other because they have children together, but it's not because they love each other, and it's not because they know each other. You get you know, you how you say that? You get accustomed with that person, you know. You have your habits, but it's not because you know the core. It's not because you're in the core of the heart of that person, and it's not because that person is in the core of you. You understand? So this is why many relationships just get, you know, like useless, strangers. We have nothing more to say. We have nothing more to do. The two persons in the house, but it makes no sense, you know. You understand? Because we don't trust anymore. We don't let people in. So people stay outside of our lives, and still we live with this person, and we have sex. Yes, we have sexual encounters with this person, but you know, bodily, this is just body meeting body. It is not you. Your body meeting the other person that is not your core. And many times people stay in relationships too because of the sex, of the meeting, because that's the only place where they really feel like they're meeting that person, is when they're having a sexual relationship, a sexual encounter with that person. But this is not the core of you. Still, it is not, because I mean, if it was, look, having a sexual encounter is really how do you call that? It is just it is not something deep, because you can go out there and have a one-night stand with somebody, you understand, and you go about your business. People do that. So we see it is not really something deep. Okay? Right. So a simple encounter, and we think that we have met love. Love has arrived. The peripheries touch each other and we believe that we have met each other. No, we haven't met. The peripheries, the borders are just touching, but we haven't met yet. In reality, the borders is the border, the boundaries, the periphery is the border where you end up. This is the fence that surrounds you. Hello, Tia. The borders are the fence, because we build it around us. Each of us build our fences around us. And somebody come along, and what do? We leave them at the door. It's like leaving somebody at the door of your heart. And some of us pass the rest of our lives knocking on the door of the other person's heart, and the person is just not opening up. Oh my God, this is crazy. The person is not opening up. The door is closed. No matter how much you go around the fence, you cannot find somewhere to enter. Even if you cut it, you still cannot enter. It is so, the walls are so thick that you cannot enter this person's life, because they just will not let you in. They've been so hurt in the past that they don't know how to trust anymore. It is such a long suffering, this thing, when it's like that, So, in reality, the periphery and the border where you end up, it is not you. Okay? It is not you. The periphery is where you end up and where your worlds begin. That's where your worlds begin. So you can imagine how many years with that person, you're still at the beginning of the world. You don't know nothing about what the world looks like. How many people we have seen that is after their husband or their wives died, they discover who they were with. Oh. Is that they say, oh, really? Oh, your husband had this child there. Oh, really? Oh, and he had this woman over there. Oh, really? And that woman had this, that was doing this. And you just, hello, and you flipping, because you say, no, that's not my husband. That's not my husband. That's not my wife. My wife wouldn't do that. My wife wouldn't do that. You don't know your wife, and you don't know your husband. You don't know your woman. And you don't know your man, because one of you haven't let each other, none of you maybe haven't let each other in. And many times we see in relationships where one let the other in, but the other keeps his or her door closed. So it causes suffering for the other person who has opened their heart, while the other one keeps them at the door. Keeps them running around the fence all the time trying to see, how can I get into that man's heart? How can I get into that woman's heart? She's just not letting me in. She has just posed all these walls. She has put up all these walls, and I cannot get into her life. It gets frustrating. It really is a frustration for people when you are in this relationship where none of you are meeting each other. Or one has opened the hearts, the world, and the other has kept the core closed. So it is causing suffering for the other person. Okay? So even husbands, as I say, and wives who has been together over years and years, this could still be the matter with them, which is that the door, if none of them knows each other, and in the long run, the thing just dies off, like the little spark, instead of it became a beautiful fire, just died off. And until you don't even know why the two of you are together anymore. See? Or you will pass the rest of your life quarreling with somebody, trying to get into their world. It still will not serve as nothing. Some people just cannot open their hearts. They haven't learned how to do it. It's something that you learn to do. Okay? So the first thing to do, the first thing to do is to understand, is to ask yourself a question. Am I in love? Am I in a relationship? Or are we just a couple? It is not the same thing. It is not the same thing. Any two people can come together and be a couple. You can have just a relationship with anybody, with your dog, with and many times we let our animals more into our hearts, in the core of our lives than people, than our partners. How it on it swing. Okay. So if we decide to choose a life partner, it is necessary to open our hearts, to open the core of our hearts, to start trusting again. Okay? But even if, as I said, even if you make love, even if no matter, even if making love, with what we call making love, I mean sexual encounter, it is still not letting somebody into the core of your, into the core of your world, into your world's core. Okay? Unless the soul meet. Sex is the only meeting of two bodies, just the meeting of two bodies, as I said, okay? But you can only allow someone to penetrate the core of your heart, the core of your world, if you are not afraid. You see? Only what is causing all this problem, one thing, is fear. All these things that I said there, what is causing this? Fear. Fear is the motor behind this, all this protection, these walls, these fences that we have built around ourselves. Fear is the reason why we don't let people into our hearts. We fear that the person will hurt us again. And the only way to let people into this core, into your heart, into your true world, instead of putting on a mask and playing to be somebody who you're not, and in the long run, it will always blow up in your face anyway, you have to let go of fear. You have to take the risk. Because you want to be somebody. Either you want to remain single or you want to be with somebody. Now, if you want to be with somebody, share your life with somebody, you got to let this person in for real. Open up your heart. Sometimes even to our children, our hearts are closed. We don't even realize it. Our children don't know who we are. If we want other people in our lives, we got to be willing to open up. Hello, Siriana. Even if we have the fear, even if the fear is there, we got to open up until we let go of that fear. If not, people will always stay outside of us, outside of our worlds. Your partner will always stay outside. Your husband will never know you. Your wife will never know you. Your children will never know you. And maybe it is because you don't know yourself. Know yourself. Get to know who you are. Hello, Miguel. Get to know who you are. Get to understand yourself. And then when you know who you are, know what you can, what are your limits, setting boundaries. You will understand, you will let people in because you know how to deal with yourself. You are the first, how to call that? Somebody, a person, like I say, is a world by itself. It's a universe by itself. You got to know your universe, explore your universe, understand your universe, understand what it is that you need that makes you happy. Understand it for yourself. Get to know it for yourself. And it will not be somebody who will come to do it to make you happy. The person who is there to contribute to what you already have. But if you don't even know what you have, how will this person do it for you? This person cannot do it for you. Sobiana, welcome. This person nobody cannot make you happy. Welcome. You can only make yourself happy. You the one to be happy in your own company. Understand who you are. Understand your world. Get to love yourself. First thing first, people. We get to love ourselves. Yes. Be the priority in your life. And then you know what? When you feel complete, when you feel really good, when people come, when you get that partner, that person you've been looking for, when you will allow that person space in the core of your life. But if you don't know yourself, if you don't know your worth, if you don't know what you value and what you don't value, if you don't know what you will allow somebody to do or not do in your life, you will always be fear-driven. Okay? You will always be driven by fear. Your every action will be fear-driven, and you will leave people outside of your lives. And your relationship will just be bitter or have no taste. You know, when you make some food, you know how we Caribbean people, we love good food. Now, we like our spice. And you know when you put the spice in there, how good it tastes. Well, if you don't know yourself, if you don't let people in to that core, that relationship, you can get friendly to whoever you want, that relationship will just lose its taste. It will just, with time, it will have no, how you say that? Saveur, we say in French. The taste of the spice is gone. Okay? So, that's the first thing we got to know. You must let go of fear. First thing, it is necessary that you let go of fear. So I tell you that there are two types of existence. As I just said, there is the one driven by fear and the other driven by love. Okay? You are either ruled. There are you know, in life there is always two ways. It's either the plus or the subtraction. You are either ruled by fear or you are either ruled by love. So we have to analyze ourselves, analyze our behaviors, analyze the way we behave in relationships or in our intimate relationships. We say intimate relationships, but do we let this person see into us? You have to let the person see into you. Fear can prevent us from being who we really are. Fear can stop you from having that wonderful relationship that you could have had with that person. Fear can prevent you from, you know, having that beautiful life that you've always desired. Fear. Okay? So, living in fear can never ever allow you to have a deep relationship. You will just be on top of the iceberg. That's all. That's where you will remain, on top of the iceberg. Because sometimes even us, we don't go deep into our own world. We stay on the surface, so we don't know who we are. Take a deep dive into you. Because before you have an intimate relationship with somebody, you have to look into you first. It is necessary that you look into yourself to understand who you really are. Okay? Intimacy. So you can remain fearful. As long as you remain fearful, you will never allow people to come into your world. They will not be allowed to. So examine yourself. Analyze your behaviors, as I said, and understand where your fears are coming from. Are they coming from the trauma, the past trauma? Are they coming from your fear of the future? Where are these fears coming from? That's something to analyze. Why am I so fearful? Why am I with this person, but I'm not letting him in? I am not letting her in. So many relationships where people are just not letting each other in. And when I say relationships, I'm speaking about intimate. We speak about intimate relationships, but we are not really intimate because we don't know each other. We don't know who the other person is. We don't want people to see our vulnerability. We don't want people to see that we don't want to let ourselves be vulnerable. But how will, if we don't do this, if we don't let ourselves be vulnerable, how will somebody enter? How will cut the fence and enter? If we don't open the door for people to let this person in, this person will always stay at the borderline. That person will always stay at the edge of your life. And you will see so many problems coming through with this behavior. So many different troubles arising because we leave people at the door of our hearts. And so many of us are knocking, trying to enter, and we get exhausted. So at a certain time we say, well, it's not happening, I'm leaving it alone. Because the other person is not open enough, or we are not open enough. Life is a risk. We have to take it. Okay? So you cannot allow the other, you cannot allow him or her to enter, to truly enter into your heart, unless you let go of that particular fear. Will you be able to tolerate the other? Until what? Up to what point will you be able to tolerate someone, as long as this person is on the edge? Because that's what happened. You know, we say to ourselves, we like to say, there's a saying we say, cheval change, maître change pas. It's like the person, when the person come into your life, you think that you have to dictate that person how they should be, but this person is a whole new world that you have to let enter, have to let that world meet your world. And that's where you will have an intimate relationship. If not, you will quickly have an overdose of this person, very quickly. And then the walls go up. We bring up the walls, as I said, because we can only tolerate somebody up to a certain point. Because both of us are at the edges. The one whose life is turned towards love is the being in consciousness. And that's what I've been referring to. Living, being conscious, being aware of who you are, being aware that the other person is different, being aware that the person will not be what you want them to be, but the person will be how they are. Letting the other one be who they are and you being who you are, and letting the two worlds meet. That's what it means to be intimate. Letting the person come into discord. To be turned towards love means not to be afraid of the future. Not to be afraid of the results or the consequences. Because no matter what choice you make in this lifetime, there will always be a result. There will always be a consequence. If you are afraid beforehand of the consequences, if you are doubting of the consequences, if you are doubtful of the consequences, if we are doubtful of the consequences, if we let fear take over, we will never know what it means to maybe have a really good intimate relationship. It doesn't mean that the relationship will last forever and ever. Amen. Maybe because everything is a season. People come in your life for a reason and for a season. Now, when the season is over, you got to turn the page, man. But while the season is going, let the fruits bear. Let your fruits Bear your fruits and let the other person bear their fruits and eat from each other's tree. You know what I mean? Eat from one another's tree and have fun. Be curious to know what it is if I let this person into my life. I mean, you won't put yourself in danger. You won't endanger yourself with just any, you know what I mean. You are conscious enough for that. But are we conscious enough? Are we being conscious enough? Are we being aware? Fully aware that who we are, maybe our behaviors are not just pushing people away, are pushing our spouses away, are pushing our children away? Are we fully aware of our behaviors? Are our doors open? Are the doors of our hearts open to let these people in, really? That's the question that we should ask ourselves. That's how we should analyze the thing. And I say to you, maybe you who have this person, who maybe you have opened your heart, you have opened the core of your world to this person, and this person haven't opened the core of their world to you. Don't let yourself go back into the place where you close your heart to this person. Let your heart be open, and then it is up to you if you decide, okay, I cannot take it anymore, I will leave it. But if you have to start doing the same thing, being the same way that this person, behaving the same way that this person is behaving, it will just get worse. Love yourself first. Love yourself. Tell yourself beautiful things. That's exactly what I did. I started accepting myself. Accept yourself the way you are. Accept yourself. Love yourself. Get into an intimate relationship with yourself. See into yourself who you really are. Examine you. Examine yourself, and do these beautiful things that you would like people to do for yourself. Take yourself to a restaurant. I don't know. Take yourself to this, I don't know, wherever you want to go. Go to the beach. Be with you. Appreciate your own company. So that if somebody don't appreciate your company, you don't feel bad. If somebody don't compliment you, you don't feel bad. Love you. Because if you don't love you, how do you expect somebody else anyway to love you? If you don't appreciate you, who will? If you don't know you, who will? And if your heart is closed, then your heart is closed upon every blessing that is there for you on this earth. Open up your heart. I'm not saying that you have to become a doormat. This is not what I'm saying. You will know, when you love yourself enough, you will know what you tolerate and what you don't tolerate. But you don't have to be stiff, so stiff that people cannot, face you, people cannot be with you, people cannot deal with you. Okay? So the real thing is that here is the conclusion of the whole matter. What I'm saying is this. We have to live in the here and now. That's where it is happening. Live here and now. Be present in your own life. Live in the present moment. Appreciate each moment. Appreciate your food. Appreciate your life. Appreciate your clothing. Appreciate you. Who will do it for you anyway? Then when you're good, you feel good, you won't really feel that need. You won't be needy. You won't be that needy man or that needy woman who wants absolutely for somebody to tell them something for them to feel good, like it was in my case some years ago. Because you know you're good. When I say you're good, you know you. You feel good in you. You feel good within yourself. So if somebody comes along and say it, well, praise God. You are getting more happier. But if they doesn't say it, praise God too. Better they don't say it instead of they lying to you. Oh. You see what I mean? So just Be here and now. Appreciate the here and now. Your life right here, right now, at each present moment. Be in your present moment. And whatever, yes, my girl, whatever you want somebody to do for you, think of it. Whatever you want somebody to do for you, which will make you feel good, do it for yourself. Start doing it for yourself. Start loving you, my friend. Start loving you. Start loving you. You love your neighbors as yourself. It means that you start loving yourself, and then you will understand how to love your neighbors. Okay? So that's what I wanted to share with you tonight. I pray and hope and believe that you will love yourself. You will appreciate yourself. You will be happy in your own company. You will learn to, dress the way that really makes you feel good, pleases you. Be your own self, and instead of trying to, fit in. Yes, love has no fear. Instead of trying to fit into everything people want you to be yourself. Open up your world. Let people in. Okay? So, this is what I wanted to share with you tonight. I say to you, thank you for coming by. All of you who came by. I was very happy, and I hope and I believe and I trust that you got something out of this, and you will continue to move forward. No matter what you've been through in life, it doesn't stop you from meeting that person who you are from within. It doesn't stop you unless you put up walls in your path, or you put in thorns under your feet. Then you can move forward. Let go of the fear. Fear is what's keeping us back in our lives. Let go of the fear. See what will happen. Be curious. Take the risk. Because that's just the way it is. The other person is a mystery. So I would be curious to discover, what is this mystery? What is this world? What does this world look like? So, for me to do that, I have to open up. And for the other person to do that, they have to open up for me to enter their world. So it is just that. Okay? And then we'll be able to solve the mystery. So thank you everyone for coming by tonight. All of you who I saw and those who I didn't see, I say thank you for coming by. Very happy to have you with us. And then I want to let you know that we will take this thing to Zoom, because that's what it was meant for, really. So that you can express yourself fully, and we can go deeper into those subjects, so that you find the keys that you need to face your everyday life, and together we will grow. We will grow spiritually together. That's what we are there to support, the sisterhood. You see, that's what we're there to do, to help each other to go through it, because none of us are finished. We are still learning, all of us, isn't it? So this program will be taken to Zoom. And then Sister Tia is there, so I'm asking Sister Tia to leave the phone numbers, to put down the phone numbers, so that those who really need to reach out to us, who wants to reach out to us, can reach out to us freely. You can do this freely. We're there to assist you, to help you go through whatever you're going through. I know that couple relationship is something that is very, very complicated, especially in the time that we live in. Can get very complicated, as I just explained, but there are means and ways to get through this, and you don't have to stay there suffering or your whole life. Okay? So thank you everybody. Blessings to you, and I say a good night to you everybody. Siriana, thank you. Leonita, thank you. Luis, thank you for coming. Very happy to see you, Brother Silburn. Sobiana, a real joy to see you, my dear. Miguel, I thought I saw Miguel somewhere. Stephen, that I didn't see. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you, Sister Tia. Leonita. Thank you, Zita, my dear. Thank you, Terrence. Thank you for coming around, Leandra Zai. Thank you, dearies, for coming around. Helena Louise, thanks so much. David Joseph, Carol, yes, thank you, my dear. Brother Silvan, thank you. And Melisha Louise, which was the first person to come by. Thank you so much. And I will leave the Zoom, I will put on the Zoom, the Zoom link during the week. In the coming days, I will put it up so that so that the next time you can join me through Zoom, and we will be with each other to support and uplift each other so that we can get going. Okay? Take care of yourselves, dear people, all the brothers who came around, and my cousin I saw, my Poleon, I saw you, I just didn't see your name there now. I saw you come around. Thank you for coming around. Thank you. So, and all of you who were there and I didn't see your name, thank you for coming by. It is a real joy to have you. Okay? Bye-bye. There, Sister Tia put up the phone number. That's nice. Okay, good. Yes. Okay. Bye. And thanks God for this moment. Okay, Siriana.